So what I want to do is to see if there are any general questions from the day that anybody wants to ask, either through Glissa or through the floor now. Anything that people want us to pick up on before I bring this to a close. We've got a question about continuity of care, which I can reassure you we are picking up with the Secretary of State. So not just in the maternity safety programme, but more widely. So there is activity going on in that space, and I'm sure you will get feedback in due course on continuity of carer. In terms of the financial plans for supporting LMSs, well, Phil slightly dodged the question when he was asked it in relation to the quality improvement work earlier. So seriously, that's something we're going to have to take away and make sure that we do give what assurance we can back to you in the local systems about how this can be supported going forward. Don't get your hopes up that we have a trough of money. We haven't. However, we know that the power of teams working together, working with one another and trying to sort things out actually enables you to do a lot of things that you can't actually just throw money at. Now, what the local organisations choose to invest in is up to them, but part of the way forward is through the much wider type of approach, like the local maternity systems, so that it's not just one organisation struggling on its own, which is in financial difficulties, which has perhaps some of my colleagues in NHS Improvement being very, very tight in terms of making the financial balance. What we're moving to is a position where we're looking at the financial situation across a whole locality, so that the funding of the CCG and the funding of the acute trust and the funding of community services and the funding of the local authority is increasingly being considered in one pot. And where that happens, it enables the leaders in the system to start to get together and say, well, what's the best care pathway for patients? What's the highest quality we can deliver for patients? And, do you know, quite often, once you switch to that higher quality pathway, you actually save money across the whole system. So I think there's some hope for financial reasons through that route. So what I'd like to do now is just to move on to do a roundup. I've got one more glitter question I have to ask you, which is on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident do you feel that we will meet the ambition of the Patient Safety Collaborative on maternity and neonatal care in 24 months? Where 1 is no confidence and 5 is very confident. Can I ask you to vote now, please? Okay, so that's pretty positive. So we're only going to do the delivery if every single one of us in the room and your colleagues who are out there in the system or perhaps couldn't get here today because of the weather do their own little bit. And it is that collection of 1% that will make a difference, as Steve suggested earlier. Thanks very much indeed. So I've got a series of thank yous to give and then just a few key messages at the end of the day. So first of all, thank you all for struggling to get here. Some of you I know will have had really difficult journeys and may still have difficult journeys ahead of you going home. So good luck with that and thank you. And you can go out with that sort of ready brek glow round you, having heard what Steve had to say about the professions that you work in. I think Wave One sites have made incredible progress and there have been some great examples. I've seen some on the posters and I know that you've shared it in some of the sessions earlier today. You're meeting the challenges, you're applying your learning and continuing your quality improvement journeys. And we hope the meeting has also helped prepare Wave 2 and Wave 3 sites for the work that they're doing going forward. I'm really grateful for all the speakers, both in the breakout sessions and in the plenary sessions, for making the time to be here. And I think you'll also want me to thank all the people who've made it possible to have this meeting today. We've got a lot of stakeholders represented here. We have people from the Patient Safety Collaboratives, we have people from SANS, from BLISS, from Best Beginnings, from the Royal College of Obs and Gynae and Royal College of Midwives, BAPM, RCPCH, NHS England and the Maternity Transformation Programme, NHS Resolution and the Maternity and Neonatal Safety Collaborative. So thank you very much for being a very engaged audience and for your active participation on Glissa. Continue to feed back on Glissa if you want to, and see you at the national event next year. So in terms of my last messages for you, I think what seems to have come out of today is that the time is absolutely right for improvement. People are seeing it, you are seeing it as a great opportunity, and you're telling us that the front line is ready and full of energy and full of enthusiasm. So if you're someone who's just part of the launch of Wave 2, look at the great opportunity you have. You have fertile ground in order to make a difference for your patients. And that wasn't really meant to be a pun in terms of fertile. I think the collaborative approach between the Maternity Safety Collaborative Programme and the Royal College of Obs and Gynae and the Royal College of Midwives is great. I think there's a real alignment now under the Maternity Transformation Board, and that's the sort of alignment that we need. We have to start to ignore any boundaries between different types of programme that are working together and actually simply say, what are we all here for? We're here to make better care for mothers and for babies and reduce unwarranted variation and improve the patient experience. Sorry, user experience. I come from a different specialty. I think there's a social movement out there, and I'd like to encourage you to help that to grow. There's been a lot of tweeting about this today, and other social media are also talking about this, which is great. And it's about sharing the learning beyond the Wave 1 sites across the local maternity systems and using the local learning systems to support the LMSs going forward. So one of the things that I'm going to take away is maybe there are more opportunities in some of the other work that I do to help to support this. So one of the other things I'm involved in is the Right Care programme in NHS England, and I think there may be things that we can do through the Right Care programme that will actually help CCGs to promote the sorts of things that you're doing so well. So once again, thank you very much indeed for all your contributions today. Safe journey home, and I hope it doesn't take too long. Take care, bye-bye.